Hey guys, it's Omer from MMOs.com and a quick second look gameplay video for Revelation Online. I spent about 10 to 15 minutes running around checking this game out. Next comments. If you guys want to play Revelation or just learn more about it, do check out the full review on MMOs.com on link below. So let's go and get started. We can check out my awesome character right now. And I think my character looks mega cute. I got the different colored eyes. What was that called? Heterochromia. I think Yuna from Final Fantasy X made that popular. But anyway, we are entering a Misty Hollow trial. Pretty super easy daily mission, which I guess I'll do while I talk a little bit about the game and my experience with the Revelation Online so far. A follow-up to my first look video because I've played the game a bit more. Level 49, but I have enough experience to be level 50 right now. And just some thoughts about the game. I do think it's a bit of an odd one. It's quite a bit different than other MMORPGs that launched recently, namely because it is Chinese, and a lot of these Chinese games do have different design philosophies, so the games do play a lot different. And as you saw, even outside this dungeon, there's a lot of people playing Revelation Online. I mean, this is easily one of the biggest game launches of the year already, and it probably will be one of the biggest of the year, period. I mean, the servers are all busy, and there are a ton of people just hanging out outside basically every single dungeon in the game. But I played about, I guess, 15 hours or so, probably a bit more than that, actually. Again, level 49. I'm doing this really easy daily quest right now, so it gives me some time to kind of just talk about the game. We got some nice DPS meters for the dungeons. There's level 51 in here, so he's going to definitely outdamage me. But it's an oddball because your first 30 levels or so are spent basically doing nothing. You're basically going from one quest to the other very quickly and not really pacing well. You don't really get to explore the world or appreciate the world. But once you level 30, it opens up a bit and you can start, focusing on your dailies. Where that's both a pretty big positive and a pretty huge negative. Namely because your entire progression is done through dailies. You're not like doing quests to level up. You're basically logging in, doing your dailies, and that's your optimal way to level up. And after that, it's a lot of gearing. So it's gearing and doing dailies, and they're kind of intertwined a bit because I'm doing Misty Hollow right now, one of the dungeons. I'm doing it on trial mode, which is what I need to do for my daily. However, I don't get the reward I need for this for my gear. If I do this on normal mode, for example, it's the same dungeon but harder, and I can get a piece of gear that actually lets me get a material. It lets me get an item that I can use to get the materials I need to craft my golden gear, which is a set of gear at level 49 that you kind of need, to the point where everyone basically tells you that you should lock your experience. You don't level up after level 49 until you've basically gotten all your golden gear, and then you unlock that and you start climbing back again. So once you're level 49, do not level up manually. Just let your XP accumulate. It doesn't go to waste. It kind of just sits there. And if you do it all properly, you can actually level up like 5 levels at once you get all your gear and whatnot. So you basically log in, doing your expert dungeon runs or your Misty Hollow normal runs. You can get the materials for your golden gear by doing expert shrine runs or Misty Hollow normal. But I think you can only run Misty Hollow once per day. So whether you do a trial run for your XP or normal for your gear is up to you. But what I do like about the game a lot is its combat. You don't really get to appreciate it too much right now because I'm doing some very easy content. This dungeon is super, super easy. Oh, we did pull aggro on this guy for whatever reason, even though my damage kind of sucks. But combat does feel a bit rewarding because there are active dodges, and it's pretty responsive and fast-paced. And even though it is technically tab-targeted, it has that nice pseudo-action combat feel that actually works. It feels nice, even though it's not Blade and Soul or Terra-style combat. It has this fake Blade and Soul style combat, but it actually kind of works and feels very hands-on. Plus, the game has a lot of skills that aren't useless, something I've seen so many MMORPGs fail to do. Basically, in combat, when you're running dungeons, you're using all your skills. I mean, there's no garbage skills in the game that you'll never use. It all gets used pretty regularly, which is nice, which kind of has you always busy in combat and focused. Whereas, even some of my favorite MMORPGs, like Final Fantasy 14, for example, on my Black Mage, there's a lot of skills you just don't use very often, and some skills you just don't use ever. So having a game where you can actually use all your skills is nice. Though in this dungeon, I can pretty much kill everything with a handful of abilities. I mean, everyone is kind of overloaded right now. We level 51, a 46, and a 49. Only that level 39 who started this party is really benefiting from this the most. Though you still get your experience for doing this, so it's still worth doing for me. It's probably, I probably should have done the normal mode one, but that was a little hard to find a party, and I just wanted to get started anyway. I feel like tanks are also a bit short in demand, so if you want to find parties pretty quickly, you make a tank. Tanks are in demand. So we're going to kill these little bugs over here. But on the negative side, I think the combat and the fact that you have pretty nice graphics and a nice open world are both on the positive side. On the negative side, the game is a bit convoluted and a bit overwhelming. I think anyone that's played the game past level 30 will come to that same conclusion because Once you level 35 or so, you look at your inventory, you're like, what the hell is going on? I got all these items, what do they even do? And you don't even, like, some items you don't even know what they do. And you're kind of scared to throw them away because you don't know what they do. And the game gives you so many items and so many, like, items that seem important that you're not sure what to do with, and you're just kind of holding on to them. And your backspace gets super limited, so your backspace does get, you know, pretty crazy. But a lot of the game does feel convoluted. Even the way you grind your golden gear, it's not always obvious right away either. I mean, it's just, it feels always very confusing. If you're not willing to read up on it, on guides, on forums, and wikis, you're going to be lost. So if you're not the kind of person that's willing to research it, because it's not designed intuitively that you can always figure out what to do. There are guides on how to get your golden gear, so once you reach level 49, you pretty much have to read those. But the strongest points, I think, are the combat, because it does feel super responsive and nice. There's crafting skills and crafting and life skills, but I have not explored those just yet. I don't have enough backspace to begin exploring those. It's just nuts how much inventory space you do need. I filled up my my NPC in town already. I do like the fact that dungeons have the damage meters, though. I know Mu Legend has it as well. I love damage meters in games, only because it lets you kind of focus on what you can improve on. Though it is very much gear dependent. Pretty much, the way you spend your time in Revelation after level 30 is doing your dailies. And once you're done with, and you do your dailies until level 49, and once you're level 49-ish, you basically want to focus on getting your golden armor. And this is all done by doing dungeons over and over again. And it's kind of odd because you're always doing the same content over and over again. Basically, every day you're going to log in and you're going to do the Trial of the Four Kings. It's going to happen, all right? You're going to do that. It only takes like 10 minutes. That's not a big deal. And then you're going to be doing Misty Hollow on normal to get your what's it called? Something of the Nyx, an item you get here for your materials. And then you're basically doing the rest of your dailies to get experienced. I mean, this is the only way to get experience, basically. You can kill stuff. In fact, one of your daily quests is basically a go grind quest. It's called Scour Dungeons. You have to kill 250 monsters, and you get a lot of experience for those. So that's like, if you want to kill monsters and grind, that's what you do. But once you kill those 250 monsters, you know, you're done for that grind quest for the day, and you do your next daily. So almost every single day, without exception, you're doing the same content over and over again, which is not necessarily like distinct to Revelation, because, you know, when you're playing any other MMORPG, you're running the same, you know, end game dungeons to get best in stock gear, get all the gear you need. But it's odd in Revelation because it happens right from the get-go. I mean, your whole progression, both gear, like not even max game gear progression, like mid-game gear progression and level progression is done entirely through dailies. There are side quests. For example, we're in raid right now, but you can see my active quests. You do have active quests in the game. The ones in orange are stuff you like story quests. You kind of need to do those. But even outside of those don't really give great experience. They're kind of there to just introduce you to some elements of the game, get you some stuff, some loot. But that's really not really for experience. All the experience you get is basically from these dailies. You have curiosity quests as well, which are side quests / tutorial quests. Though some of the stories are actually pretty funny in there. The funniest one I found was I read it because I was bored while playing, so I figured I might as well read it. There's a story about a rich guy and a poor guy trying to court this lady, trying to get that lady on a date. But the lady is like unsure of who to go with. But then at the end of the day, the lady's basically like, you know what, this guy's got money, I'm going with the guy with money. And it's funny because the rich guy trying to court the lady is actually like comically fat and disgusting. Like they made him like a joke. He's like hilariously fat and ugly. And the poor guy is actually really like he's a toned dude, you know, he's a good looking dude. And of course, the Chinese moral of the story here is if you're rich, you get the girl. Doesn't matter if you're disgusting or not. But yeah, money buys girls. That's nice Chinese takeaway from this. But there's a ton of little story quests like that, and they are translated. Though some of the UI stuff still is not fully translated just yet either. You can see on my little pet over there, my turret, he's got some Chinese text over his head. My damage totally sucks, but whatever. This is super easy. There's no chance we're gonna die. If we're doing this on normal mode, it's gonna be a bit more challenging. And honestly, you don't really get any challenge in Revelation until you hit about level 49, where I'm at. And once you start doing expert runs, it's going to get more challenging. And the reason so is you do need your gear. And if you want to get past level 49, for example, if I had to start doing level 50 content right now, I mean, I can unlock level 50 dungeon right now if I actually click the level up button. But I wouldn't want to because the content is so much more difficult that it scales in a very odd way. I mean, people have said there are basically soft caps in the game where if you don't pause at level 49 and get all your gear from dungeons, you're gonna be wasting your time because you won't be invited to parties because you'll be so, you know, like I'm actually really weak right now with 46,000 equipment rating. You know, around level 49, 50, you can get like over 50k, 60k. So once you get all your golden gear, it's massive. Actually, I think all your gear actually levels up in this game too. All my gear is kind of maxed right now, but it's pretty crappy gear. So once you get a new piece of gear, you basically use it, it levels up with you and gets stronger. So your new gear might not be super strong right away, but it maxes out pretty quickly and gets very strong. And again, there's no chance I'm gonna die here because this is pretty low level content for me. But you still get a ton of experience for doing this. And even though my XP is locked, it doesn't go to waste. A couple other complaints I have. I think the game is a gorgeous open world, right? You can fly around, really appreciate it. We can appreciate that booty right there. But when you're outside here, on your wings, you can fly around pretty much without restriction. You can fly into the ceiling, fall from really high up, climb the statues, and the world is beautiful. But the game gives you no reason to explore it, like literally none. I mean, there's no even side quests to have you exploring the world really, and that's sad because most of your time is spent is autopathing. And when you autopath, it doesn't even use the game's wings, which is so you don't really get to appreciate the beautiful world of Revelation. But I think ultimately, even though I'm not a huge fan of the game right now yet, it didn't quite hook me yet. I think I had some fun when I first did my dailies around level 30. Logging into my dailies was kind of fun. But once you run Misty Hollow for like the 10th time or more, it does get a smidgen repetitive. Give me that quality loot. Did I actually not loot it? I think I should just click need on them. It's fine. This guy scored the highest with special skill page. He won the roll. And basically this dungeon, you get to fight waves of enemies. But once you do the same dungeon over and over again, it does feel a bit odd. And you'll be doing the same dungeons, the same dailies over and over again. That is the primary means of progression. But once you're doing the harder stuff on expert mode, it does get a little more challenging, so it does keep you on your toes. And there is always a little competition of trying to be the guy with the most damage when you're playing, people around your skill level. And I like that a lot, both in Mu Legend and in Revelation. Just trying to compete for damage is always fun, even though I'm not winning right now. But I'll blame that because I'm talking. All right, clearly I am not focusing entirely. And all the classes in the game actually play quite a bit differently. In the first round of beta, I played a sword mage, and I'm liking Gunner a lot more. They have a lot more interesting abilities, and basically every single class you're using all your abilities too, which is again, it's great to be able to use all your stuff. I mean, there's nothing that's really utterly useless for my class just yet. We might get some more stuff later on, but not yet. You have this odd path system too. Basically every 10 levels, you can basically get a whole bunch of stat points. It's weird that they call it a path, because it's not really a path. It's you go in one direction. Like if it branched off and you kind of customize your build in two different ways, I think it'd be cooler. But as is, it's every 10 levels, you get your little path bonus, and it gives you some stats that way. There are a lot of ways to customize your skills too. I mean, as you level up, you just click K, you can see all your combat skills. What you level up over here is of course up to you. You also have special skills, which are your F1 abilities. And you actually level these up too. I mean, as you use them, they actually level up. We gotta get this to, I guess, 100 to fully level up over there. We're not quite there just yet. Every time we use it, we gain 0.2, it looks like. So you have to use your abilities a lot to level them up. And these are only with your F1 and F2 abilities. But you actually customize them as well with these weird things you pick up. I can't do it in battle. But, you can choose how you customize these abilities too, with better cooldown reduction, more damage, or other goodies over there. But you actually have to use a drop to do that. You have to use something called Dion's, I believe. Do I have any left? I don't think I have any in my inventory right now, unfortunately. But as you do your daily grind quest, you actually get those as loot, and you can use those to upgrade those abilities. And even my character, I have two modes. I can do my sniper mode or my dual gunner mode. When I'm dual gunning, I have a lot more mobility. And once you click 5, I go to gunner mode, rather sniper mode over here. And it actually makes my skills crit a lot more, and I think I do a bit more damage too. And you lose, of course, you sacrifice mobility for it, but it's totally worth it when you're doing super easy content like this. But again, not all the content is super easy. Again, it gets a lot harder at 49 and higher. Like, people say that's when the game actually, quote-unquote, opens up. That's when the game actually starts, which is a phrase I hate using, but that's when, things get a little more challenging. You're doing expert dungeon runs and gear grinding right away. And if, it's good that they have the dailies. It always gives you something to check off, like something you can accomplish every single day. But it does feel very, like, all the content feels very segmented because of that. Man, look at this massive AoE. Let's use Q with this AoE. My grenade is AoE. Massive AoE damage over here. Click number 3. Hit 6 different targets with that. Number 4. Lots and lots of beautiful AoE damage. I love seeing all these numbers fly up. But yeah, I mean, if you haven't played Revelation Online yet, I say it's worth checking out for the main reason that it's a pretty big game already. It'll be one of the biggest launches of the year. And it is different. I mean, without a doubt, even if you don't like it, I think it's fair to say it's it's different because it's a Chinese MMORPG. And we haven't seen a big Chinese MMORPG outside of Revelation in the West, I think, since Age of Wushu, if anything. And then before that, what, Perfect World and Jade Dynasty? And those games are quite a bit different than their Korean counterparts. And for that reason alone, I say check it out. I mean, personally, it's not really doing it for me just yet, but I'm going to stick with it for a bit and see if it maybe, once I start doing more of the expert dungeon, it starts getting more fun for me. It's not my cup of tea as is, but I like her. I've seen her like 10 times already, but it just looks like the way her brawl looks like there's like 2 hands grasping it. So it always gets my attention. All right, we can kill her right now. It hasn't been my cup of tea just yet, mainly because it just feels a little overwhelming. I like complexity, but I don't like when the game just throws a lot of shit at you. And you have a ton of items in inventory that you don't know what they do. It can feel very convoluted, you know, what to work on sometimes. And it doesn't have a clear path on what you should do. And even when you do have a path, it feels like you don't really have a choice. Like with the path system, I feel like the only way I can really customize my character seems to be my skill system when you click K, and the way you actually upgrade your special abilities over here. Which you might even be able to max everything out though. I mean, I'm not quite sure. That's really the only way you seem to customize your character. New gear, of course, which is unfortunate. But then again, I mean, a lot of games have pretty poor character customization. I mean, some like Final Fantasy XIV, which I really love, have like the worst customization, where every black mage is the same as every other black mage, besides your stat points. The game has stat points, of course, too, but there are optimal builds. Plus, I got an awesome title. I'm the cuddle buddy, but there are optimal builds for your stats too. So even there's not too much customization. Anyway, let's go kill this Gugurian Evda and get our loot over here. Again, the loot here is gonna be I'm basically doing this just for experience. Let's see how much I gain. I'm at 11 million experience out of 6 million. So actually, I'm pretty sure I can level up like twice right now. About if I had to click the level up button, I can level up twice. But again, I shouldn't do it because I think you can't run the shrine until after you're level 49. So it's best to stay around level 49 until you can get all that content done and all your golden gear grinded. And that's what you're gonna be working on for a while. After that, I'm not sure how it opens up. There's PvP as well and a lot of other stuff. And the cool thing is once you click this more button, it always tells you what you can do, which is nice. If you ever lost, you can kind of view this and see what you can work on next. And it tells you all the content you unlock as you unlock it. So I'm iffy on the game. It's not my cup of tea so far, but I'll probably keep playing it for a bit more, and maybe I'll do another third look video when I'm higher level. But yeah, if you guys do want to play Revelation or learn more about it, do check the full review on MMOs.com on the link below. Anyway, guys, hold on. Before we call it, I want to show you the best part about this game. Besides my booty, you can actually see all the costumes in the game too, and the costumes are actually quite gorgeous. You click on boutique, for example, you can see all of the costumes in the game, and it tells you even how to get them. So that's actually super useful. You can see there's so many of them, and this menu reminds me of the Blade and Soul menu because you can kind of preview everything that way too. All these goodies, and some of them look really pretty. And who doesn't like customizing the character and making them look pretty? Everybody loves it. But yeah, guys, that's Revelation. Later, guys.